Good morning, everybody. Coffee! Um, I hope you guys are okay. I'm checking on Abigail. She's right here. We just finished eating breakfast, and I still have some coffee. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Dodi Lena, and this is Dodi's page you're watching on YouTube. This morning, it's a beautiful morning. Yep, it's a beautiful morning. Yep. Anyway, although for some people, it's not. I just saw just before I got live here that there was a mass shooting in Leland, Mississippi. Like 4 people died. And like 20 people are injured at a high school, at Leland High School in Mississippi. So that happened last night, though. I was going to make this video something else, but now I'm trying to get this. So bear with me. Hold on. I'm not there yet. I used this one because the other ones are... The other microphones, they keep going off and on and off. So this one is... It's landline, so dependable. That's why I like it. And it's clearer, so... Because I have under kind of... What do you call it? Microphone. It's a real cool one. It has a blue light and everything. I just don't know where it's at. Dar, I haven't seen you in a while. I've been wondering how you've been doing. Uncharted. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one. How are you doing? I hope you're having some coffee. I don't know if you've heard, but Abigail has gotten really sick. A little update on Abigail. She was doing fine. We were both doing fine, but within, I want to say a month, and that trailer just passed by me, you know, that truck, wherever it is, there it is. Can you see it? Somewhere, there it goes. Within a month's time, she lost all her body fat, everything. She didn't have, you know, all of a sudden she's just bones. I'm like, what happened to, you know, I go and pet her and I could feel every bone in her body. What happened to you, Abigail? And she just like, her health just went downhill really fast. And Dar says, I'm doing well, had some coffee earlier. Oh, so you are a coffee drinker, good. Oh no, what's going on with Abigail? And Jace, hi Ozzy, how are you doing? Oh, the poor girl. Well, let me tell you, I mean, it's very heartbreaking, very heartbreaking. She had, you know, she's just weak. And I noticed she wasn't playful anymore. And then my first clue that I got was that she was not eating nothing. No matter what I put, she wouldn't eat. And so it still didn't ring in my head that there's something really seriously going on with her, because I have always thought that she's strong. And well, what happened was my truck broke down, and we were in the hotel for a few days because my clutch went out. So we're in a hotel in this little town in Colorado, and Ozzy says, "What state I'm?" I'm in Minnesota right now. Anyway, we were in Colorado, and the people there are really nice. It's a little small town, and they took me to a hotel. So I ended up. You're in Minnesota too, Brad? Well, all right. Anyway, I ended up. Well, she's laying down in the on the floor in the hotel. Well, what happened was the lady that had the owner. She was from another country. I want to say Poland or you know Yugoslavia or something like that. She had that accent. Her and her husband, and she was working. Her husband was like kind of crippled, not walking around with a little crutch and stuff. Well, but they were very nice. And they took me to, hi Joyce, and they took me, or she saw the dog. She says, "Is your dog okay?" And her stomach was like full, like round, but yet she was all bony. And so she told me of a vet that was close by. So they took me to the vet, and they gave her tests there. That and blood test is what they did. And it's a big old readout. I mean, terms I don't even know, like medical terms I can't even pronounce. I don't know what they mean. But there was one that, like on little dogs like her, it's supposed to be, like again, I don't know these terms, so I'm not going to even pop it up. It was supposed to be like at 250. Hers was like at 1500. So, the doctor said that means she's like almost to have a heart attack or something because this is really not normal. And so they had, I told them we're truck drivers. So they referred me to a place because I was going to Kansas. So they referred me to a place in Kansas or there in Colorado. So, I went and took my load to Kansas, and there they have like the Kansas State University uh, and big old college there. So students were checking her out, student veterinarians that were in training and stuff. Well, there was one, she was really nice. She was one of her doctors. And then the main doctor came too. So he gave her like CAT scans and x-rays and stuff. They found a big mass around her stomach. That's what he called it, a mass. I told him, well, what's a mass? He says it's cancer. And I'm like, oh, that's like heartbreaking, really, really. My heart just, so um, she couldn't even stand up. She was stumbling, you couldn't stand her up because her legs were just so weak. Well, he ended up giving me some antibiotics, and so did the other doctor in Colorado. They gave me some stuff for her hunger to help her eat, which she did. She started eating some food, and then, but the doctor a few days later in Kansas gave me some antibiotics. Which after this, I'm gonna go take a shower, and then, pardon me, and after this, I got to go get a refill here in Clearwater because there's an animal hospital there because she's almost out of the medication. If she goes out of those antibiotics, I don't think she'll make it because that's basically what's helping her. And you could tell even within, because of all that, she's not as, bloated like she was. It's gone down. But you know, they, the doctor in Kansas told me, well, she's going to she's going to need an operation to get that out. And I told her, what is this mass doing? It's like around her stomach, and it's pushing her kidneys to the back, and it's very painful for her. So, being that I've been giving her these antibiotics, I could tell she's still uncomfortable, although she's feeling a little better. And so I I got her some children's Tylenol, and because they're like big tablets, but they're real easy to crumble and stuff. They're like flavored. So I crumble those up, mix them with water, and inject them in her mouth. Not with a needle, but it's like a injection without a needle, a little squirter. Well, that made her like took the pain away. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Let me see. Thanks for the heart. Yeah, the heart is broken. Um, Thank you, Dar. And Ozzy says, did you go to Kansas to see Dorothy? Come on now. Um, Dar, I thought maybe cancer, when you mentioned the weight loss. Well, there's another white truck right there, so it's like bright. um, that's what I thought. And still, that's how we defined it as cancer. So, I've asked a doctor in Kansas, I told him, well, how can, is she going to die and stuff? She says, no, she'll be fine. You just need to take that stuff out. So we set up an operation. Now he's backing up, giving me a spotlight here. So anyway, so yeah, I set up an operation date for the middle of November, and that's like $5,000. And I'm thinking, I don't know, that is, the medication is helping that stuff go away. So I gotta take her back into the doctor here pretty soon and make another appointment and for a follow-up, and that way they can see. But she's hanging on. She's doing better sometimes, and she's not. She's doing like, in fact, one day she's like just laying there, doesn't want to do anything. The next day she wanted to play, and she doesn't play like a little puppy anymore because she's 14 years old. So she'll play. She gets the ball, and I'm playing with the ball, and I'm playing, I'm coming. So cute. So for a little old lady like her, she still knows how to play. But even when I was playing, my heart was breaking. Anyway, it, it gets hard. It's hard. Um, she's my little buddy. Um, I'm trying to get her to gain weight. So I'm giving her vitamins and her medication every morning and night. Actually, I'm giving her double dose of medication, of double dose of, yeah, the medication morning and night. But like the vitamins, the vitamins, they told me you can give the vitamins as much as you want. So I give her a little, like I'll fill up my finger because it's like liquid, or it comes in a tube like toothpaste. And I'll put some on my finger and rub it on her mouth. And she doesn't mind that at all because it tastes pretty good. I'll give that to her in the morning and at night so that she can sleep good. Because sometimes I've seen her at night where she can't sleep. She's like tossing and turning and, so yeah, so I give her like half Tylenol in the morning to help her with her day and then half at night so she can sleep. So she can sleep good. And what is this? Wait. Capital. I can't see what, glare of these trucks are just passing by. Um, Capital Emmer. Hi, beautiful. Superior, white, gorgeous. Okay, there you are again. No, Eddie, you're not a slave. I'm not going to tell you anymore, okay, please? Um, you got to have respect for yourself. It's not having respect for you, for your own self. So don't throw that on me anymore, okay? No more. If I have to tell you again, I'll take the wrench away, okay? That's how it works with me, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. It's just you got to have respect for yourself. And Ozzy said hi. And springtime. No, it's fall. Uh, Kennedy. I can't pronounce your last name. That one's retracted too. Hi there, your sorry is sad. My sorry is sad. I don't get it. Anyway, it's hard that, my little Abigail is sick. Oh, the story is sad. Oh, okay. Like, yeah, my sorry is sad. Like what? Okay. Yeah, that makes. It's not actually. It's not a story. It's my little Abigail. Look, I'll show you. See, she's right there. You can't see her because she's really camouflaged. And there's a couple of right there's a couple of elk bites that she likes elk. This it's just at the what is this? The what do you call it? The sun is shining, but she's fine with that. But see, you can see her bones. I mean, you can feel it right there, and it breaks my heart that we she chose me when I first got her. She was 6 months old, 6 weeks old. It was a little family of five. She had four little brothers and sisters. You know, two brothers and two sisters. She was the other girl, or is it three brothers and I don't know. Anyway, she was one of the twins. She had another little brother exactly like her, except he was more brown and she was more gray. Just a tint, that was it. That's the only thing you could tell, like they both look identical. And then the little one was jet black, just a little black fluff ball. And then there was one that had the ordinary Shih Tzu colors, of brown and white and stuff. That that one they was the first one they picked, and they my sister was raising them, so they bought that one. But the other ones, you know, my sister gave to family and stuff. And I got this one. Um, Her mother was white. Same thing, just like her, except white, all white, white. But I remember, you know, I came from California to New Mexico, and she had them in the box in the back, and they're all puppies, you know, just little fluff balls, just, and they're all barking and everything. And Abigail looked at me and like, okay, come on, let's go. She came to me by herself. I didn't do it. She picked me like, oh, okay, this one. This one is the one. Because my sister says, which one do you want? And I'm like looking at them, and Abigail looked at me like, okay, let's go. Like, okay, I'll take this one. And that's been Abigail. Um, but we've had a long life together. We've had ups and downs. I've had her more than, or I've been with her more than, or longer than both my marriages. Not together, but not combined, but I've had her longer than both of my marriages. And I treasure her more than my exes, by the way. Uh, you're very stoned now. You shouldn't be doing that, Ozzy. Because if you knew what that does to you, you would never, ever even think of touching that stuff again. If you really knew, I'll tell you right quick. Um, but anyway, before I do, there's my little dog, Abigail. We're going to go take a bath in a little bit, and I took this weekend off to give her a break and to catch up on a few things that I got to do, like bolt my bumper back because it fell off once. They welded it. They didn't weld it very good because it just broke off. So I'm going to bolt it, not weld it. I got to drill the holes. And then I got to see about my lights and more. And I got to get her medicine. I've been home shopping. So I know what house I want. I know what house I want. But it's a beautiful, beautiful house. If you're wondering why I keep doing that, it's these trucks that just, see, they're white and they're like big old white billboards, just brighten everything up. But, okay, about you being stoned, Ozzy. Okay, look, here comes another one. Look, see, it's going to get real bright. I'm going to show you guys. Just going to leave it there. Watch. Oh, and then he stopped. See? And then you got the reflection there, see? See how bright it gets? There's that one, and then there's, I think, another one coming back. Okay, but anyway, about being stoned or drunk or smoking cigarettes or drugs or anything, you lower your vibration. What I mean by that is we're ascending, you lower your vibration, you're going to stay living in this kind of world over and over and over and over and over, and it's a bright again. And you're going to keep doing that until you finally realize, oh, this isn't helping me. So I got to clean my act up. So Stay away from that stuff. Like you're a grown, I'm sure you're a grown adult, otherwise you wouldn't be on here. Like you should know better about your own health, taking care of your own body. Don't just look for cheap, how do you call it? Or how did he say it? Cheap temporary pleasures that will make you feel good for a little bit because they're destroying you. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not talking about spiritual today. That'll be later tonight. I'll be talking about this world ascending and everything. But that's all I'm going to say about now. But, don't do that stuff, okay? You're hurting yourself. Why would you want to hurt yourself? Like that guy earlier talking about him being a slave. Why would you want to call yourself a slave? You want to be a slave? Like, that doesn't make sense. Don't do that. Maybe if I put on my hat. Anyway, I'm still having coffee. Uh, like I said, there was a shooting last night in, was it Leland, Mississippi? That's a little town. So I heard. I never, maybe I passed through there. I don't know. But um, this, there's a lot of changes going on in this. There's a lot of changes in this whole entire world, and you gotta accept the changes, okay? Whether they're, whether you see the changes being good or heartbreaking or sudden or dramatic or whatever, they're lessons that we are learning. Like if you make yourself a bad cup of coffee, you learn not to do it again. I like this, my coffee I'm drinking, I'm almost done with it. It's called Bescosito. Uh, okay, I'll show you the bag that I got. Hold on. Let me go to the back of my truck. It's a mess back here, but I haven't cleaned it up yet. This coffee it's right here, see? It's from, let me turn this around. It's from New Mexico, and see, New Mexico Pinon coffee, and it's called Bescosito. And this bag that I got is, when I bought this bag was ground because they didn't have any beans. But the coffee that's in here now are beans because I finished off the ground coffee and I bought in some beans, same kind of coffee. If you don't know what Bescosito means, it's like a cookie. How can I say? It's 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 like they're like thick cookies, about the size of a cookie, right? And they're thick, and they're really good. They're like Spanish cookies, is what they are, and they're called biscuits, right? That's why they're like thick and like round, like a little. That's what it means, like a biscuit cookie. are you going to smoke beans? You know, you're just being, I don't know, you're just being, you know, I don't know what, but that doesn't make sense, okay? Anyway, so that you know, Ozzy, I'm a warrior of light for Archangel Michael, okay? I don't smoke, I don't even do tattoos, okay? I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't, I'm not, I don't drink, you know. Sure, say my life is boring. It's not. My life is very exciting. So, and that's without any drugs or any temporary feel goods. So you guys got to do that too, is open your eyes and wake up. And don't be rude. Don't throw some stupid comments like this, okay? I'm just having coffee with you guys. I hope you guys, whatever you drink, whether it's orange juice or just water or coffee or tea, or just be careful with those, what do you call it, another truck. Just be careful with those energy drinks because they have a lot of ingredients that are not good for you. They do more damage for you than, they, again, it's kind of like they make you feel good. I mean, what's his name? George Kennedy. He's like the one that's in charge of the food now. He'll even tell you, even ketchup's not good for you. Like, wow, ketchup's not good for you? I still love ketchup, but I've had to stop. Yeah, listen to that guy. He tells you a lot of good things about that. Gatorade is not good for you. These energy drinks, they're not good for you. The only thing that's really good for you, not even coffee, the only thing that's really good for you is water, purified water. That's it. If not, look at what an animal drinks. Learn from an animal. Then my little Abigail, she won't have coffee. She won't have. She used to drink milk when she was a puppy, and I just gave her some a few months ago. Now that she's an adult, she she got diarrhea like that. Like, that milk just went right through her, and like her body rejected all that milk and calcium and whatever else milk is made of. And her body says, nope, get that stuff out of it. So, yeah, she learn from your animals. Drink water, And basically, coffee and tea they're dyed, is what it is. Because you put in the coffee pot, you put the coffee there, and then you filter the water through. Well, basically it's dyed. That's what dye is. If you're gonna keep saying hi, I'm gonna just swipe you out. So I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just like, I like your comments, thank you, but I'm messing with you too, okay? So, because you're not rude like some that I've known to get on here. You're just, I don't want to say you're like a fly irritating, but like, I keep forgetting. That's okay. That's what I'm about. I'm about having fun. No, you're not a fly, but You're getting there. um, you know, I want to say I love you guys. I love all of you guys. Get rid of your hate. Get rid of your ego. Start using your heart, not your brain. Your heart. Okay. And let me tell you about my bumper. My front bumper is a big bumper. It's chrome. It's big. I've had to straighten that thing out a bunch of times. And then um, my back bumper, the bar, and that thing fell off, and actually a curb yanked it off. I'm Melbourne, Australia. Really? You're in Melbourne, Australia? Australia? Oh, okay. Kennedy, what did you say, Kennedy? I can't make coffee, and when I drink it, it's horrible. I guess I need to know how to make coffee. When I was younger, I used to think, how does my dad drink coffee every day? Like, ugh. It, I don't know why I drink coffee every day now, but it's blonde and sweet. It's like almost done there. So yeah, I put sweet cream in it, and um, the less cream I put, the more bitter it tastes. But it's a caffeine that if I were to stop right now with the coffee, I'd get a massive headache. I didn't know that until one time I'm laying in bed, I'm in the hospital. This was a long time ago. And I had started drinking coffee already. And my sister came to visit me in the hospital room. I forgot what I was sick of. But I'm laying in the hospital, and my sister was the first one there in the morning. She tells me, "How are you doing?" And I told her, "I just have a massive headache. Aside from, I think it was, oh, I don't remember I'm not going to get into the medical terms, but I was sick. Okay, I had a fever, everything. I was in there for about a week or something, and I woke up, and my sister's there. I woke up with a headache. I'm like, whoa, and my sister says, "Well, have you had any coffee?" And I told her no. And she says, "Well, get a cup of coffee and you'll feel better." And I told her, "Why?" She says, "Because it's a caffeine that you stop drinking coffee since you've been in the hospital, which has been 2 or 3 days, and you don't have no caffeine in you. That's why you have a bad headache." Because she's a nurse. And that was my sister. And I thought, oh, okay. So she ordered some coffee and got me a cup of coffee. Once I drank the coffee, my headache went away. I'm thinking, wow, my sister does know stuff. But really, you'd rather drink beer than coffee. Um, you know, we all got our own preferences and stuff. But I gotta tell you though, alcohol is the same thing like pot, the same thing like drugs, the same thing. It lowers your vibration. It's okay. I'm talking in a totally different channel here, totally different paragraph or book or right. When you drink beer, do anything that'll give you a high, drugs or And I'm not talking medication drugs, I'm talking the drugs. Anytime you do that, okay, here comes another slow one. Oh, come on, speed up. Anytime you do that, we are connected to the earth, we're connected to the universe. Anytime you do that, you end up getting further and further down. You start deteriorating, and that's what happens. In other words, you're just putting yourself, uh, you're putting chains on you. You're putting bricks around you and not letting yourself, uh, you know, float. And I mean float like an angel and stuff. So, and that's the last thing you want to do is be grounded and watch everybody float. Okay, I say float because it's a funny word. That's all. What we have right now going on all over the world. What there was a 7.8 or 8.7 or something earthquake in, I think it was New Guinea or something up there near the Philippines. Um, there's uh, some people call it biblical, some people call it the end of the world, some people call it, we're all gonna die. Well, you're gonna die if you keep drinking beer and smoking pot, that's for sure, because then you're gonna live and you're gonna die again, live and then die, and you just keep going in the same circle like a little mouse that goes in the wheel. That's you run and don't get nowhere. That's what I'm saying. Get off that and wake up and start doing better for yourself. Don't call yourself a slave. Don't look down on yourself, and feed yourself with the proper foods. And I know I'm saying that and I'm drinking coffee. Look at me for an example, right? I'm a warrior of light. I'm not perfect. I'm not an angel. I'm, that's it. I'm not, holy or nothing. I'm a person. Let me tell you this one little thing the other day. I had gone like from here to over there, right? It wasn't this station, but it was a different one. This truck stop. And I'm walking, and it was about this time in the morning. And I'm walking like that, and this dog, it was a big dog, uh, like a big pet bulldog. And they had him chained because there were some people with a camper, not a RV trailer, but it was a camper, right, onto their truck. And they had planted themselves with a generator and everything. And they had the dog chained out, not chained out, he was on the leash outside. And I went walking by, and that dog was like so happy to see me, like, hey. And wanted to play and everything. And so I went and greeted him and everything, and then I came back. Well, I've had to feed her some of the foods that just to fatten her up, just to give her some solid food, because she's been on basically liquid foods. And I know she wants to eat something solid. So I went and got her some bacon and a hooch dog. I don't know what kind of dog that was. But it was it looked like a big pit bull, like a little bigger than, but it wasn't so muscular, but it was a big dude. Usually those dogs, they look at me and they're like, "Is she gonna eat me or what?" Well, this dog wanted to play. So I'm coming back and I had some bacon for her, right? And I thought, well, maybe this dog would like some bacon. So I came up, and the dog's wanting to play again, and the guy comes out. He's an older guy, and probably like in his 80s or something. And he comes out, and I told him, "Do you mind if I give your dog, a treat here?" And he says, "What is that?" And he says, "Oh, that bacon, you can't do that. No, 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 you can't." He's just freaking out, right? Like if the bacon was going to kill the dog. It's like, no, it's just a little treat, if anything, it's one time, like, hello. So anyway, I was talking to that guy and I was telling him that I'm a warrior of light. Honey, this she's a warrior of light. Like, no, it's just, you go, honey, she's an archangel. She's holy. And I'm like, no, I didn't say that. I told him, and his wife, what, honey, what? Outside, sticking her head out the door. What are you talking about, honey? God bless senior citizen. And I told her, just tell her later. I told her, told the guy, I told him, I'm not an angel, okay? I'm a warrior for an archangel. I'm a warrior for him. And so he's like, huh? So I started telling him about a few things, you know, about ascending and stuff like that. I told him, see, your dog, I don't know how friendly your dog is, but usually dogs, they weren't nice to me. Now their dogs have gotten so nice to me because the dogs know. And he says, you don't know it because you need to wake up, I told him, and start opening your heart and stop believing about what's been told to you with the religion, whatever religion, but you need to open your heart because it's like, okay, this is the way I see religion. You walk into a house, right? Okay, you open the door and you're right at basically the porch. Not the door, but you climb up the steps and you're at the porch, right? You haven't entered the house yet, but you're in the porch. That's religion. Open the door, and what I mean by that is open your heart. Oh my God, you go inside the house, it's like a cathedral. It's a mansion. It's a palace because once you open your heart, then you really see what's going on. And then you think, yeah, that's, the first step is, the porch you came in. That's your religion, okay? But then keep on going. Don't stop. But then you're going to see everything that was in the porch is not always as clean and honest as it's, set out to be. Because once you pass the threshold and come inside, oh boy, you're going to love it. Anyway, Ozzy says, I have American Pit Bull and he loves everyone. Do you really? What's his name? What is his name? Is it a boy or girl? Well, yeah, you said it's a he, so yeah, take care of him. Excuse me. Anyway, that's the way. That's a good way of defining religion to spirituality, to what's really happening. Sure, okay, you're outside. You're outside in the yard. Butch, oh, okay. Yeah, but anyway, okay, you're outside in the yard. Basically, look at it that way. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening, uncontrolled, chaos, you know, You see a lot of crime, a lot of that's in the street. Then you come on to the yard. Okay, some sort of organized. You think this is a nice yard. Okay, I'm going to stay in the yard, basically like your neighborhood, right? It's a nice neighborhood. I live in a nice neighborhood. Basically, that would be the yard. Okay, and then, oh, in my neighborhood, there's a church. Okay, so you go to church. Basically, it lifts you up a little bit. That's the steps to the porch. Okay, you start learning about, the religion, whatever religion it is, whether you're a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian or Buddhist, whatever. Okay, you go up and you're standing in your porch now. So you're learning about all this. And, but there's a doorway because you're right at the entrance of this house, right? You've seen what's on the street, you've seen in your yard or community, you've come up a few steps to, uh, your religion, but now you go into the door, you knock on the door, but you gotta knock on the door. You knock on the door, and guess who answers? An angel, an archangel, a master, uh, a master. Uh, what I mean by that is Jesus. Jesus is a master. There's also a Lord, like Lord Buddha. Um, you know, a goddess. Like okay, someone will answer the door, and they'll invite you in. They'll invite you in. They're not going to say, "Get in here." They're going to say, "Would you like to come in?" And you say, "Yes, but can I bring my pot and can I bring my six pack and stuff?" They're going to say, "Nope. All that stuff stays in the street. Your religion is the devil." Okay, well, if that's what you want to call it, they're going to say that stays out. But you know what? Then once you go in the door, you're going to find love like you've never felt before. There's this one lady I was listening to. She's very, very happy, very, very, uh, you know, her positiveness it'll spread onto you, right? What I mean by that is like if I were to tell you something mean, you're going to get angry. That's your negativeness getting into you. Well, her positive, her laughter, her smiles and everything makes you feel good. Well, you guys might have seen this in movies because she's talking to this, like, um, she's talking to this one person. This one person is being really rude and everything. So she starts talking to this person. And then she discovers that that person that's being real rude isn't the person she's talking to. It's the dark spirit that got into you. That dark spirit has that person trapped and not letting anybody near, that sweet person because that dark one is in front and, guarding it with its darkness. So, and she realized, oh, it's not the girl I'm talking to, it's some dark spirit I'm talking to. Well, the angels, you know what? You know what they said? Because she's talking to him like that. And she saw the angels also come in. And the angel said, you know what? Why are you doing this? Don't you remember who you were? Because you used to be a sweet, beautiful person. And now look at you. You're trying to consume this girl, and she's, you have her trapped, and you have her on drugs, and you have her all this. But, why are you doing this? The angel started talking to the dark one with love. He started talking like, look, see, look, and they'll go back in time. They'll show you, look, see, this is you when you were a little boy playing. Like, where's that little boy? Uh, we want to play with that little boy. We don't want to play with this dark person that's trying to, consume and eat other people. Like, no, you just gotta start loving yourself. And that lady that was talking to the girl was quiet because she's being trapped. But the lady that was talking to her, that told me the story, she's like, she just stood back and let the angels talk to the dark ones as they had their little conversation. And, you know, that's, but she didn't feel bad. She didn't feel scared or nothing. And later on, she ended up talking to the girl that she was supposed to be talking to. Anyway, um, when you say your religion is your devil, right? There's 1,000 ways I can take that because I don't know what you mean by that. And I don't want you to start trying to explain it. But when you say that, that's like 1,000 possibilities of leaving yourself open for disaster. There's like you're exposing yourself. In other words, it's like, you're walking out and you're naked onto the world and you don't care if a shark will come and bite you, if a insect will, a spider or nothing will come and bite you. You don't care if, you get hit by a car or a truck. You're just exposing yourself out to the world that like, take me, go, whoever, whatever. You're like being that girl that wants to be trapped by the darkness. Hello? Really? You're that stupid? Like, don't be doing that. See, don't do that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I say I'm a warrior of light. I know all this stuff. Like, don't do that. Like, have respect for yourself. Love yourself. Because you remember when you were a little kid, you were playing either with dolls or with cars, or you're riding your bike or playing with, you know, ball with your friends, baseball or whatever, playing games with your friends and stuff. Be that person. Be that person laughing, climbing a tree. That I remember that. Yes, I remember those days. I remember me and my friend Chucky. We went to the store, and you know, he ended up, slipping on some, on some broken eggs and stuff that he was trying to put in his pocket. Like just what time is it there? It's time to get going because I'm done with my coffee. I got 2 more minutes. Uh, anyway, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Have respect for yourself. Love yourself. Get that dark crap. That's what it is. It's crap because you're stinking up a storm. Get that crap out of you. Start cleaning yourself up. I can't help it but keep talking to people about what's happening. I can't help it. It's me. It's in me. I'm a warrior of light. Every chance I get, I'm going to tell you guys, wake up. Wake up. This world is ascending, and if you don't ascend with it, you're going to stay out on the street in the gutter, not even in the yard in your neighborhood, not on the steps in your religion, and you surely ain't going into that palace, that beautiful place. I'm an atheist. Are you? Well, there you go. You're an atheist. You don't believe. That should say something. You're an atheist, okay? That means you don't believe in anything. You want proof. You think that a lot of the, what do you call it, religions and stuff are false. That's a start. That's a start, right? But I gotta tell you, have you ever fallen in love? Have you ever had a crush on somebody? That's love. You can't deny that. Yeah, that girl that, like, in high school that you thought was like, oh my goodness, um, or, you know, or your passion that you like say you like hot rods or football or something, or, bow and arrows or something. Yes, that's a passion. You feel it. Do you feel that? Okay, that's what love is. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not religious myself. I have a crush on you. Well, that's good. Thank you. Um, do you guys know about, I'm sure you guys have heard this, looking at the glass half full and looking at the glass half empty? Some people say it's being optimistic, or what is that other one? Um, I had a friend that was like this, pessimist, right? I don't know, I'm not going to get into that part, but I keep things more simple. If you got a water a glass or cup half full, is it half full or is it half empty? Because if it's full, then you know it's full. If it's empty, then you know it's empty. What if it's half? Are you going to look at it as half negative or half positive? You can look at it half negative. That means you don't have enough for anything. You don't have enough for, you know, to quench your thirst. You don't have, but you know what? If you look at it half full, you're going to look at it as, you know what? That's all I needed. I just need a little bit for now. And I'm good to go to take the next step. The beer's half empty. Okay, well, you look at it as half empty. Um, so you drink that little bit. Why even bother then? Just dump it all out and be empty completely. That way you don't have any. So there you go. See? Anyway, um, these trucks finally stopped being in front of me. I drive a semi, by the way. I'm in my semi. It's time for me to go and start getting things done here. It's 11 o'clock, so thanks for coming in. Thanks for having coffee with me. Actually, you guys didn't have breakfast with me because I didn't want to eat in front of you guys, so I finished my food and then I started coffee. But there's much more beer to drink. Okay, if that's what you want to do, it's your choice. Just remember, I told you so. And so when you're struggling through life, being broke, being sick, being hurt, you're going to think, I should have opened that door and walked into that palace instead. Because instead, you're being, you're throwing yourself out in the streets. That's what you're doing. That's the way simplest way I can explain it. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. You guys take care of yourself. Love yourself, okay? And who's ever in here, give me a like. Thank you, guys. I got more people. Sometimes I don't always get a whole lot in the live, but then you guys. So leave a comment if you guys want. If you've gotten this far, I hope. And thanks for sticking with me, Ozzy. And I hope you learned something. I'm always learning, even from people like you, how to talk to people like you that look at things in a different perspective than I do. I'm not going to insult anybody. I'm just gonna, if you say you're an atheist, that's your choice. I would never hurt anyone. That's positive. See, you're looking at the glass half full. See, there you go. That open your heart. Put your mind someplace else. And see, there you go. I would never hurt anyone. That's what I'm talking about. See, look at those two little thingies there. Ozzy, there's much more beer to drink. Now let me step one backwards. The beer half empty. And then the next one was there's much more beer to drink. That's looking at it as half full. Wait, that's looking at it as half empty. I'm sorry. Now looking at it as half full. I would never hurt anyone. That's being positive. That's what, yeah, you're smarter than you think you are, ding dong. We'll see you later, and you guys, that's a good one. Remember, you're smarter than you think you are. Keep your heart lit, okay? Don't hurt anybody. Let it shine like crazy. Okay, we'll see you guys later. And I gotta go to the hospital and get her medicine and fix my bumper. See you later. Bye bye.